Story 1. A startup bro sent me a lot of hate mail, so I improved his product and sold it to his competitor. Now he's going out of business.
I'm an academic researcher. I won this tech competition last year and started getting hate mail from a startup bro from my country who was probably just jealous because his team hadn't even made it to the finals of the same competition 3 years ago. Just my guess. He was now the CEO of a growing startup. The content of the hate mail was usually just insults mixed with explaining that I wasn't really good in my field and didn't deserve any acclaim. It hit the fan when he actually made the effort to attend a Zoom lecture of mine to hurl insults in the comments. That was embarrassing. I wanted revenge in a way that would prove my merit as well. I ordered his company's product, a special water filtration apparatus, and made some neat improvements to it which made it much cheaper. I found one of his close competitors who operates in the same region, and gave the product to them in exchange for a payment and an advisory position. This was also a small company that was neck and neck with the dude who was harassing me. It's been 1 year and the competitor has almost fully dominated the market. I haven't announced my affiliation with the competitor yet, but I'm about to. I wish I can see his reaction live when he finds out I helped the competitor.
Comment 1. Nice. But seriously, how do people have the energy to actively harass strangers? I barely have the energy to get out of bed most days.
Comment 2. Playing 4D chess when the other person is still learning the colors in checkers. Well done.
Comment 3. Hilarious, but that guy sounds completely unhinged. I wouldn't want to be looking over my shoulder for the rest of my life. Comment 4. Fantastic revenge. I'd be a little cautious making any public announcements over it, though. If he was unhinged enough to harass you while trying to run his own startup, I'd be concerned about him escalating his actions now that he has a lot more free time. Comment 5. You might consider not announcing it. There is nothing positive that you can gain other than feeling good. There is, however, potential negatives including continued harassment or even a lawsuit, which it sounds like he would lose, but defending yourself could cost a lot of money and take a huge amount of time. If it were me, I would secretly enjoy my revenge every time I deposited a check and, other than sharing with a couple of close friends, leave it at that.
Comment 6. I have to ask, this doesn't violate any of their patents, does it?
Story 2. Neighbor's dogs viciously murdered small family dog, so my friend replaced fence with ugly, giant shipping containers obstructing their view.
Link to pics in first comment. So my good friend had a cute little terrier. Her asshole neighbors have a bunch of large mutt dogs. They live out in the countryside, outside of city limits. Her neighbor's dogs dug a small hole under the fence that she didn't realize was there. Her terrier went sniffing it when she let her outside, and the mutt dogs bit her and forced her through the tiny hole to the other side of the fence and then mauled her to death. The asshole neighbors said she shouldn't have been on our property and offered no apology or support. My friend was absolutely devastated and laid in bed at night plotting revenge. She came up with the incredible idea of shipping containers. The neighbor's yard is angled and their house sits back from the road. My friend had giant shipping containers installed along the fence line in the front. So now when the neighbors look outside they see these giant garish shipping containers instead of their expansive view, and since they live outside of city limits there is nothing they can do about it.
Comment 1. On my friend's side, they painted the shipping containers a nice brown to match the fence, but the other side it is green and red with giant lettering. I figured out how to link pics. Comment 2. I told my friend, damn, I'm glad you're my friend and not my enemy. 'Cause those neighbors' property values have gone way down now. That's all you see now from the neighbor's house. Lol, I love to drive by slowly and laugh.
Comment 3. I love it. And I love your friend for her creatively petty revenge. I wish her getting new dog and enjoy her life onwards.
Comment 4. Are the containers fully on your friend's property, so that neighbors cannot even think about painting their side? Does friend know any graffiti artists who would like a big canvas for their art, for neighbors to enjoy? Again, 100% on her property, So she can and neighbors can't say squat. Have the art contain images of her terrier as a bonus. Comment 5, brilliant, and I am sincerely sorry for the loss of their dog. So sad. Comment 6, I'd still tell her to report those dogs to animal control. They should be put down or the owners fined at the very least.
Story 3. I don't want to get involved in.
This happened 20 years ago, when my kids were in elementary school. We lived in a wonderful neighborhood, with walking access to school used regularly by the community. My eldest was in upper elementary, youngest in early grades. Eldest was getting harassed by some neighbor kids on the walk to and from school. The harassers were in the same grade range and brothers. Eldest talked about what was going on and we workshopped ways they could address it. Nothing worked. I talked about the issue with a next-door neighbor/friend. It was a sensitive circumstance, being neighbors and all. I called the mom of the harassers to talk about it. No hate, I wasn't accusing, it was a conversation. She shut me down with I don't want to get involved in what happens on the walk home. Alrighty then. I thanked her for her time and we hung up. I tried to address the issue by getting home early enough to meet up with the kids at school to walk them home, but I was working and couldn't do that all the time. So the harassing happened and conversations with eldest and next-door neighbor continued. Kids were around. We were addressing it as a global issue and being developmentally sensitive. This stuff happens, how do we resolve it respectfully? Then, one day when I didn't meet them but had arrived home soon after school let out, there was a ruckus. Youngest child and her friend, next-door neighbor's eldest, same age as my youngest, had chased the harassing brothers home from school, throwing rocks at them all the way to their front door, and their message to the brothers was, "Leave eldest alone." I figured out my kids and neighbor girl and got them settled, and then my phone rang. Back in that time we had landlines and caller ID, and I saw that it was other neighbor, mother of the harassing brothers. I smiled. I did. I'm not entirely proud of it. I pushed the button and put the phone to my ear and said hello. I really don't remember what she said. I listened until she was finished and then I said, I don't want to get involved in what happens on the walk home. She paused a long time and we sat in that silence, and then she said, fair enough. And we hung up. Those brothers never bothered eldest or youngest or neighbor kid ever again. Youngest remains terrifying to this day.
Comment 1. At least the youngest had the brains and the stones to deal with the problem permanently. Comment 2. Gotta love a good petty revenge story that comes full circle by using the other person's own words against them. Comment 3. At least the woman remembered that she had used those exact words for a similar situation. Comment 4. This is the brilliant poetic justice boner content I hope for.
Comment 5, your response was awesome. It is especially had to listen to BS in silence, deliver the perfect response, and the let silence do its job. Wish I had your self-control.
Comment 6. My youngest is made of the same stuff yours is. She used to be so quiet and studious. People mistook her to be weak. But whoa Nelly, when she found out her older brother was still being bullied, after years of addressing it with his schools, she took care of it. He came out one door and his bullies were kicking him, knocking his hat off, trying to steal his backpack. His dad got out of his car, intending to intervene, but little sister was coming out the gym door. She shed her backpack and pulled out a softball. She had been taking fast pitch lessons and was really good. Before anyone could react, she threw it as hard as she could, right between the ringleader's legs. He went down and she trotted over and retrieved her ball. Next time I catch any of you anywhere near my brother, I will aim for your head. Got it? She said. Then she turned to the principal who was standing there, speechless. I wouldn't have had to do that if you had done your job and took care of this. Then she trotted back to get her bag. They left him alone after that, except for trying to challenge him to a fight a few years later. She found out, and the gang, who thought it was going to be 5 against 1, found out they were facing not only my son but also the girls' softball team, most of the football team, and the FFA boys. It was about 30 to 5. To this day, she is soft-spoken and wouldn't say mud if she had a mouthful of it. But no one messes with her brother. They are the best of friends in their late 20s. Gotta love kids like them.